Welcome back to Finance for Firefighters. Today we're going to talk about dividend stocks. So if you want to get paid for owning investments, dividend stocks are a great option. They literally pay you just for owning the investment itself. So most of us like passive income. Over time we actually have to work for it, but any kind of side hustles that we do or owning real estate are great ways of having passive income. You basically just get paid without having to do anything. Well, a dividend stock offers you the same kind of benefit. What a dividend stock is it's a owning stock in a company, and the profits that they make, they pass along to you in a quarterly basis. Let's take a look at some companies that offer dividend stocks that you're probably pretty familiar with. Examples of companies that pay dividends are Coca-Cola, Home Depot, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, Verizon, Pepsi, a lot of utility companies, and then many banks. Dividend stocks offer a lot of benefits. They're simple, they're passive, they work during retirement to pay you additional income, and you can either take the cash itself or continue to reinvest it and let that money compound onto itself. The benefit too is that you don't actually have to physically pick individual stocks. You don't necessarily have to buy a stock of Coca-Cola because you believe in it or don't believe in it for the dividends. You can buy ETFs that have a variety of these stocks that pay dividends. Let's look at 3 different types of dividend stocks. So the first one is dividend growth stocks. Think of these like steady, reliable companies that are continuing to do well. So companies like Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, McDonald's, these ones pay those dividend stocks steadily over year after year, and the amounts they're paying in dividends continue to increase year after year. They pass on all that profit they make as companies onto their investors. High yield dividend stocks are another one that pay significant yields, but they are more volatile, so they're not always as reliable for you. And that's sort of the catch-22 on this one. They may pay you higher at some times, but lower at other times, or maybe even not at all. AT&T has a pretty good track record of doing this. Sometimes they'll pay significant dividends, other times very, very low or none at all. Third type of dividend stock is a dividend ETF. So this is the same kind of things we looked at as far as most of those other types of index funds. A lot of the ETFs own hundreds of companies within that pay dividends. So it gives you a much better exposure to different types of sectors. You're not just focusing on one type of area. They have these dividend stocks spread across hundreds of companies, which allows you to have a more consistent payout for your dividends. So how do dividend stocks actually pay you out? Well, typically they'll pay you out monthly, quarterly, or annually, and those dividends will get put back into your actual brokerage account. If you set it up in a way when you purchase them to just reinvest the dividends as they come in, then you're just going to end up purchasing more of that either ETF or stock as they pay you the dividends out. Let's talk about some pros and cons for dividend stocks. So dividend stocks are great for stability, they're great for growth, they're great for retirement income. So some disadvantages of dividend stocks are they're not some magic money making machine, and they're also not guaranteed. And they also don't replace owning index funds like an S&P 500 index. So dividend stocks work best when you stick with something like an ETF that's very, very broad, so it covers lots of different companies and lots of different sectors. It's good if you reinvest your dividends themselves instead of taking them out and cashing them out. And it's good to stay in long term and you continue to build those things up. Dividend investing is not flashy, but it is a long-term play, and it is a great way to build sustainable income from you and to build up your actual account itself for wealth generating purposes. Let's go through some common questions. Are dividends guaranteed? The answer is no. Many companies have a track record of delivering dividends time after time, but a lot of that's based on how well the company itself is doing. So the best way to hedge your bets on something like that would be to buy a dividend ETF that covers tons of different companies and tons of different sectors. How much should I invest in dividends? Well, again, case specific, it depends on what your particular situation is, but most of the mainstream stuff out there says don't do anything more than 10 to 20% of your investments into dividends. So dividend stocks and dividend ETFs give you a great passive income stream for firefighters, and it's a great way to just diversify your investments. Download the Dividend quick guide in the description below. Thanks for joining me on Finance for Firefighters. Hope you guys have a good shift. Thumbs up if you like it, comments below. See you guys in the next one.